Hi, welcome to Storytime with Gigi. Today we're reading a school zone book called Bumble Bear, the Garden Party. Found this book at my local Dollar Tree. This book was written by James Hoffman and illustrated by John Sanford. Bumble Bear loved honey, but despite scheme after scheme and plan after plan, the honey shelves in his cottage were empty. His wife Gwendolyn and his cubs, Wear and Tear, often smiled to themselves over his bumbling efforts to get honey for the shelves. One morning at breakfast, Bumble Bear sat staring into an empty honey jar. Gwendolyn was looking out the window when she turned and said to Wear and Tear, "Today you can help me plant flowers in my garden." "I thought you already planted strawberries," said Tear. "I thought you planted raspberries too," said Wear. "I did," said Gwendolyn, "but the berry blossoms need to be pollinated. If I plant a lot of flowers, the bees will come and give us their help." Bumble Bear's head snapped up. "Bees," he said. "Bees?" He continued thinking. "Where bees are, honey is. Right here on Honey Hill Farm." A plan formed in his honey track mind. "I'll plant my own garden," he mumbled. "The bees will love me. They'll thank me too, with honey." He smiled as he thought of eating honey all day long. That day, Wear and Tear and Gwendolyn Bear began working in the garden, patiently planting flowers. Gwendolyn made Bumble Bear work too. He dug and hoed under the hot sun. "Gardens are a lot of work," he grumbled. "There must be an easier way." As the sun set, Gwendolyn said to her cubs, "Thank you for all your help today. This garden will be as pretty as a picture." At that moment, Bumble Bear stumbled onto another sweet idea. "Pictures," he thought. Back in his study, Bumble Bear worked feverishly with his paints. He painted a wild flower, one flower, which took him a very long time. There must be an easier way, he thought. Then he smiled and got a stack of Gwendolyn's gardening magazines. His scissors flew until he had a stack of brightly colored flower pictures. He sang to himself, pretty as a picture. Ta-dee-ta-dum. When morning came, Bumble Bear nailed all of his flower pictures on sticks. There were pictures of sunflowers, roses, peonies, marigolds, and even orchids that would be set around his painted masterpiece, the wildflower. "These will bloom all summer long," he thought as he worked. "I'll never have to work in my garden again, and the bees will love them." Bumble Bear carried the flower pictures out to his garden and planted them. He plucked the red and blue silk flowers from several vases Gwendolyn had in the house and planted them too. The bright jumble of flowers could be seen from far away. All that summer, Wear and Tear and Gwendolyn Bear hoed and tilled, weeded and watered. Bumble Bear spent his time lying in the shade, listening to the hum of the bees and dreaming his honey dreams. "It seems like there are more bees in the garden than ever," he thought happily. He watched the bees as they hovered around his garden, looking at the pictures before flying over to Gwendolyn's garden to continue their pollination work. Some days, Bumble Bear would tiptoe down to the beehive, which was bursting with honey. Honey dripped down the sides, and Bumble Bear would cautiously lick a little off. "Delicious," he said. "They are working extra hard thanks to my inspiration." One evening, Gwendolyn showed Bumble Bear a tiny invitation sealed with beeswax. "The bees are having a garden party tomorrow," said Gwendolyn. "They've invited us and wish to thank us for our hard work this summer." "At last," thought Bumble Bear. That night Bumble Bear had sweet dreams of honey, by the pot, by the barrel, by the wagon load. His honey due for a job well done. The next day, the whole bear family dressed in flowery finery to attend the bees' garden party. The hive was beautifully decorated, and the meadow was filled with harmonious buzzing as the bees waited for their honored guests. Gwendolyn Bear received a flower vase that the bees had filled with honey, and Wear and Tear were given a shiny bucket holding a large honeycomb. Then it was Bumble Bear's turn. He stepped up beaming to receive his sweet reward. The bees flew to him humming humorously now and placed a picture of a honey jar into his anxiously awaiting paws. Bumble Bear looked very sadly at the picture, a symbol for real honey. His stomach grumbled and his honey hopes crumbled. Gwendolyn Bear smiled and gently said, "A very pretty picture of honey, don't you think?" He gave them pictures of flowers. That night, Bumble Bear locked himself in his study, thinking and planning, with the picture of the honey jar propped up in front of him. One of these days, I'll stumble onto something. I'll come up with a perfect plan. What if? And that's our story. I hope you liked it. Make sure that you like and subscribe and share with your friends. And don't forget to check out schoolzone.com. It's got a wonderful Little Scholar app that's perfect for pre-K through first grade. Bye until next time.